the representative from Power Hive is here. Chris, there you go. So shall we have your presentation now? Okay. All right, please welcome Mr. Chris Horner. Thank you.
Visitors to Kisii and Kenya's Western Highlands can feel the growing excitement of the people. They're all talking about one thing: power. More specifically, solar electricity delivered directly to their businesses or homes. Driving the excitement is Power Hive, an innovative technology company that was founded in 2011 in Berkeley, California. With an experienced team from the telecom and utility industries, Power Hive has developed microgrids in emerging markets. Using satellite imagery, combined with Power Hive's remote microgrid design and customer acquisition tools, hundreds of microgrids that would serve over 1 million customers have already been identified in the Kisii region alone. The Power Hive platform captures rich usage and payment data from its customers. The platform also monitors and manages system performance, electricity demand, communications, and prevents electricity theft. The first 4 microgrids in the Kisii region now provide AC electricity to approximately 1,500 customers who previously burned kerosene for lighting or walked miles just to charge their phones. When a village that meets specific criteria for electrification is identified, Power Hive's regional team hosts a forum with town residents and officials to get buy-in from the locals. New customers pay a one-time connection fee. After that, electricity is prepaid via mobile money. The process is similar to buying minutes on a prepaid cell phone. In 2012, the first pilot project was commissioned for a small group of customers. The goal was to test the technology and refine the business model. In 2013, 3 more sites were completed with capacities of 10, 20, and 50 kilowatts each. These microgrids are capable of serving larger villages, including commercial and residential customers whose lives have been transformed.
When we were using kerosene, we were spending a lot of money. Charging our telephone was a very big problem. Now we are living in a modern world. I've saved by using Power Hive. I've saved a lot. And I think you guys have to install many sites for other people to be there, to be able to purchase televisions, radios, and see lights.
Power Hive aims to start a cycle of economic growth by providing energy and investing in communities. Growth means better lives for its customers and opportunities for Power Hive and its partners to satisfy an increasing energy demand.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Christopher Horner. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Power Hive. Thanks for having me here today, Coy. Sorry I was running a little bit late. The traffic was absolutely terrible. So as we know, there's a huge amount of people on this planet that lack access to electricity, and another couple billion that have very unreliable access or are burning expensive diesel fuel, as we see oftentimes here in the Philippines. So, thanks. So Power Hive is a technology company that does development or works with development in local markets. So this is a quote from the ERC about our subsidiary in Kenya, who is now the first privately licensed utility in the history of Kenya, outside the national utility. So based on the merits of our pilot products, pilot programs, as well as our technology platform over the last 3 years, we've been able to achieve this. And we're currently rolling out 100,000 service to 100,000 customers over the next 12 months in Kenya. And we have now just established a presence here in the Philippines to partner with the likes of Ramelco and others to actually hopefully deliver a solution to this market. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our solution. I want to talk a little bit about the pilot projects and why those have been so successful and why we think that those learnings could be transferable in terms of some of the data and how that works. I want to talk a little bit about a financial summary about the company and how that works, as well as risks and risks and mitigants to those risks, and talk about what we're looking for in terms of investment, which in fact is providing investment and working with local municipal utilities here. So our corporate structure, currently we have our headquarters are based in Berkeley, California, where we do all of our engineering, our development, software, hardware development, and global finance. So we have a team of project finance people. So we essentially are able, through the technology platform, have also been able to attract very significant capital to deploy based on the merits of the data from our pilot projects. So I want to talk a little bit more about that as well. In Kenya, we have a local office that's doing business development in the region, and then we have our local office, which is essentially the local utility. So this is a little bit about our team. This is my fourth company. I come from the telecom industry, and I'm applying a lot of the same principles of the sort of telecom business to what we're seeing in terms of rapid deployment of microgrids in emerging markets. And I have the other team. My managing director in Kenya used to be the CEO of the power company in Kenya, as well as he was the CEO of the Rural Electrification Authority in Kenya. And my chief investment officer, who's just successfully sold our first project in Kenya to a large utility, and we've just entered a $120 million joint development agreement for East Africa with them as well to do more projects like this. So we really feel like we've created a scalable model that is that we're seeing see a huge potential to replicate here in Asia. Our engineering team comes from sold all their last technology. They developed all the tracker controllers that SunPower use in all their global utility scale solar applications. So you can see here we put together a pretty exciting team to deliver a kind of a new business model to address this issue of scaling microgrids in a lot of these markets. So in short, how does this whole system work? And what are some of the key factors for why this is successful? So first of all, as much as possible, we try and standardize based on certain generation assets. So in the case of Kenya, we're rolling out literally 100 microgrids of roughly of 24 kilowatt generation assets, solar, 100% renewable in Kenya is possible. The energy, power, and customer engagement, the technology that drives that is something that we've developed, and what that means is that we're able to control the energy and power and all the customer communications, the billing, through a central platform. So we're getting a tremendous amount of data, and we have a tremendous amount of data over the last 3 years of operating. We interface with existing mobile money platforms. So in Kenya and Africa, we work with MTN, Airtel, Safaricom, and others. And so customers prepay us using their mobile money, their telephones, for the electricity they're going to consume. We automatically activate the service to their household through the meter that we developed. And if the customer reaches a zero balance, the power to their house is disconnected until they top up their account, much like a cell phone. Prepaid cell phone. And so what's different is that these grids are offering 24/7 and 24/7 AC power for both residential and commercial use, which most of what we see out there today has to do with is really geared towards sort of cell phone charging and things like that in the African context. So this is a typical microgrid in Kenya, and so the central generation plant. So we're agnostic to the energy generation source that we work with. So So in the case of Kenya, we have battery systems in there, inverters, all off the shelf, but high quality bankable equipment. And then our meters are out throughout the village, and it's a hub and spoke architecture. So it's a centralized meter that also has a computer base inside that's also able to detect electricity theft, as well as other sort of key things, and manage load to the households. This is a picture of one of the grids in Kenya. And this is just a quick summary. So on the hardware side, we looked around the whole market for an appropriate microgrid control and metering system, and it didn't exist. So we actually had to develop this in-house, which we spent the last, quite a bit of capital to do, which is doing things like theft detection, demand management, and on the Honeycomb platform itself, it's doing all the operations and maintenance of the grid, all the billing, the whole billing infrastructure, the load management, and also the tariff controls. So we can have different pricing for business customers, residential customers, daytime, nighttime pricing. We can even do things like dynamic pricing. So if energy or power is scarce, we can actually shift pricing depending on the time of day. Here's a quick snapshot of the customer's credit balance going down, and the money is just delivered, deposited directly into their bank account. It's very, very simple. What's interesting though is when we actually consider our customers, it's important to understand what kind of consumption they're using. So we're also capturing information such as instantaneous power. So this is, you can see there, this is about 4 days of usage, and this area right here is the power. So you can see here, we're getting very rich information. That's showing 100-watt consumption. So this individual customer is actually watching TV at nighttime around 6 p.m. and it looks like he has a radio or a different load during the day pretty consistently. So that's giving us an important profile of the type of customer that we are seeing in our grids, which is basically is building up a revenue forecast for the grids that we build. So whenever we go into a new market, we always do a pilot project to really understand what the load profile is, what the payment profile is, to really get project what the likely revenue for a particular project would look like. So we get qualitative and quantitative data about usage, including the types of business customers that are connected to that grid. And then we, as we've witnessed in Kenya, we track those customers over time, and those customers are, we've seen grow tremendously. This is an important tool that we've seen that we use quite a bit around the world, actually. So we've used this tool here in the Philippines already to start looking at potential microgrid sites here. This is a tool we call Swarm, and Swarm is essentially is an image recognition technology that we built that is looking at satellite imagery and then recommending the most appropriate grids based on population density and generation capacity and available resources. So through the pilot achievements, we're really poised for growth. We developed the Swarm solution. We've collected millions and millions of data points from our customers to really get a rich understanding of how customers consume. And we've been able to really demonstrate how to develop these projects in a really cost-effective way. It's also been helpful that we've had, our investment has come from a $1 billion US solar company called First Solar, has been our main financier, and they've also been able to leverage their supply chain to help us get really, really cost-effective pricing. So some of our target markets, we have Myanmar, India, Philippines. This is just a snapshot of some of the amount of capital that we've determined is necessary to develop the projects in these markets. Quick snapshot of what we see the Philippine market to look like. And we've run Swarm and identified, this is just what we've done from Berkeley, so I'm excited to speak with some of the municipal utilities here about some of the findings that we've had. And so we've run Swarm and identified and priced out 20,000 potential customers across different parts of the Philippines that we know to be in difficult to reach areas. And we found just randomly 7 of the 10 interesting sites to be in Mindanao. And this is an example output of our swarm analysis. So this is just image recognition, or technology developed, recognizes that these are rooftops, and then is able to figure out and price up the systems. This is the revenue opportunity that we see here for our, how we do things. We do pre-development, pilot project, regional scale, and national scale is sort of our process. These are the sort of expected returns that when we develop projects, what we look for, and that we've seen in Kenya, and sort of how we're scaling as a business. So over the next 10 years, we'll be at about 25 million connections that will be using our platform. So we're launching pilot projects in India and other markets as well on the platform. So again, just to reiterate, in certain markets, we're just selling our technology and the whole solution. In other markets, we're actually actively developing, have staff working with local partners to actually build up the market. So the Philippines is an example of a tier 1 market for us. I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to wrap up. We've really analyzed a lot of the risks associated with building microgrids in difficult to reach places. We've got a deep understanding of the construction costs, how people consume electricity, the regulatory environments, and how to sort of get investors comfortable with those, as well as how to involve the community in the ownership of the community in order to help protect the assets and also provide incremental benefit to the customer. So we've really developed a unique, sort of proven, methodical approach to microgrid development. And I open the floor to questions.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Okay, so any of our panelists have questions? Maybe Colleen or Martin, if you have any.
Thanks so much, Chris, for that great presentation. I'm curious to know a little bit more behind your geographic expansion strategy. Given that there's so much unmet need in Kenya, why not dig in there and try to saturate that market before taking on new geographies?
So we actually are very much going deep in Kenya. So we have about 15 people in Kenya right now, and that process is really well underway. So what we've been using the capital that we've raised so far to help now expand into other markets. So this market scales our approach to scale lends itself well to actually investing in local markets, finding the right local partners. And then what we've done is we've partnered with large utility companies that have the balance sheet that want to actually own these projects long term. So we really feel that the timing for actually replication in one market one tier 1 market per year is very achievable, and something that we're confident we can do.
Yeah, so I don't really have a question, I have a comment, which is good because we're running out of time anyway. But I had the privilege of seeing your presentation already in Addis Ababa, I think a year ago. So it's also related somewhat to the regional aspects. But I think to refer to the other presentation, I was really impressed by Romelco in terms of the local ownership, the local interests involved, local organization, and then especially 15 years of experience of getting this project through, right? So when I heard the presentation, I was thinking, well, how can you use this better? How can you make the most out of this experience? How can you transfer it? And then I see you presenting and saying, well, we want to expand to other regions, and we have a successful model. But the first thing someone will ask is, well, what about the local experience? You don't know the field in the Philippines and elsewhere, and so it just seems like a perfect match, right? And there's a perfect kind of timing of having these two presentations after each other.
Yeah, in fact, exactly. I mean, I'll be meeting with Renee tomorrow actually to talk about how we could leverage potentially powerhouse technology and access to capital to help finance some of these projects. Because it's really the strength of the platform, our international partners and experience, and Rene and his group's local knowledge, which absolutely make this thing work. We don't come here thinking we know what we know about technology and sourcing and data and applying data and analytics to help get investors comfortable, which is effectively what we're trying to do.
Great, thank you, Chris. Let's give Chris a round of applause. Sorry, due to limited time, maybe, sir, you can approach Chris separately during the break.
I'm just trying to comment on
Okay.
the first one, Mr.
Rene Cahilugutan.
Yeah, difficult name to pronounce. Sir, there is a recent directive from the Department of Energy Philippines that renewable energy projects are required to share 1% of the income, the gross income, to the local government. Is it now being implemented in your cooperative? Are they asking the local government, are they asking 1% of the gross income of your cooperative? That's a memorandum from the Secretary of Energy, Department of Energy Philippines.
Okay. In our case, from year one that we have operated, we are in commercial operation of our Manila power plant. We've been the biggest taxpayer in our locality. So we're paying the local government around 200,000 pesos per year for that percentage tax by the local LGU. So you know.
So that's a tax. But as far as I am informed, the recent directive from the Secretary of Energy, Department of Energy, that there is a share of 1% for the local government where the renewable energy project is cited. Maybe,
Sorry to jump in. Since this is very Philippine-centric, perhaps we can take this.
another thing also.
Sorry, sir. We have very limited time, so I apologize. I wish I could accommodate, but maybe you can discuss with Sir Rene. I'm sure it's very possible.
And also, before I want to help this guys, Power Hype, concerning investment in the Philippines. You cannot come in without a Filipino partner. I can assure you that, because our board of investment requires Filipino equity. Yeah, another data.
All right, fantastic.